we drive down that path because we assume that there's safety in stasis. Right? That if we can just get to the line and then hold the line, we can finally get people to follow the rules, and we can finally fix people and cure human evolution and kind of all the other stuff that a lot of other folks have talked about this morning. If we can just finally just get rid of all that human-y stuff, and we can just ride the line, then everything will be fine. We assume that there's a middle ground. We assume that there's better and worse, and that if we can just get in the kind of utopian center, then everything will finally be okay. But we should draw a couple assumptions there, because stasis typically leads us to this, right? It typically leads us to this kind of just rotten nothing, right? When we're looking at making things better, when we find the suck, and I will tell you that you should be on a mission to seek and destroy the sucks in your organization, whether it's safety related or not. And if you want to know what sucks about working at your company, you should go ask somebody. Because if you ask them and you mean it, they'll tell you. They'll tell you. But before we go in and start putting our hands into any of this stuff, before we go in and we start pulling the levers of our organization, we should learn as much as we can about those systems first. So often, we start by fixing, right? Especially when we're like responding to something, or we're talking about the boom kapows kind of stuff, right? We go, it should have been fixed, it should have been fixed yesterday, so let's just shotgun a bunch of stuff at the wall and see what happens. And a lot of times, the unintended outcomes of that leave us in a much worse state than when we started. We should learn as much about those systems before we put our hands in them as possible beforehand. But we learn, we try stuff, we fail, we learn, we repeat. Again, I don't like to get super prescriptive, but if there's two things that I can leave you with, that if I could just like close my eyes and everybody just go forth and use, it would be these two things. Start from a place of trust rather than distrust. So often the ways that we approach worker safety and just stuff at work in general is from a place of not trusting people. And it leads me to another question. If you don't trust them, why the hell did you hire them? That should be the question you're asking yourself. We have to start from a place of trust rather than from a place of distrust. So often our rules, our check sheets, our procedures, our handbooks, our this, our that, our little GPS doodads we want to put on everything to track and see how hard people brake and see, when they accelerate maybe a little bit too fast. Get to the point of putting it in a watch. Well, I don't know, you only got in 5,000 steps today. Are you sure you're really doing your job? When we start from a place of distrust, it doesn't do anything good. Organizations all the time. Please, pretty please trust us. Never works that way. If you want trust up through your organization, you first have to be willing to trust down. Start from a place of trust rather than distrust, and do things with people rather than to people. So often, especially as it relates to safety, we like to do safety to people. Back to stuff that doesn't work. If you want to go far, if you want to make safety suck less, ask people what they need. Genuinely trust down through your organization and ask. Mean it. Ask. There's not a single high-priced consultant in the world, myself included, that has any more answers, and probably worse answers. The people that have the true answers in your organization are the people that actually get stuff done in your organization. They have all the answers you need. There's not a high-priced consultant in the world that has more answers than they do. Ask them. Trust them and ask them. For me, my why in all of this is just to make the world a better place to work. Make safety suck less. Work shouldn't suck. It should not suck. Safety included.